Hello. Well, first time in front of the camera as such. Most people have seen me on Facebook and what have you doing the drawers, but I thought I'd sort of step it up a little bit and start off the review like this. It's a little bit different for me, I know, but hey ho, we'll give it a go and see how we go. Right, well today I've been very lucky. I've been to see the boys at Alclad, Robert Bunn. Had a good long chat and decided a few things we're going to do for the upcoming months, including some new mil specs, mainly for the armour boys, which I know we've sort of a little bit deficient in, so we're going to make that up. We'll get some of that done, so hopefully soon you guys are going to be taken care of as well. But first, today on the way back I went to Hannon's and I managed to acquire this baby, the brand new Airfix new tool McDonnell Douglas Phantom FG1, a British Royal Navy Phantom. Modelers all over the world have been crying out for a new British Phantom. Hopefully this is the start, as Airfix did with the Harrier, and doing a complete new tool right the way through the whole list. So hopefully we'll be getting British standard Phantoms, Air Force Phantoms, perhaps the FG2 and so on. So without further ado, let's get into the box and do a review on it, shall we? Right, here we have Airfix's brand new tooling of the McDonnell Douglas Phantom FG1 in 1/72 scale. I was very lucky. I walked into Hannon's today and they had just finished putting them on the system, and I managed to grab one. Thanks to Alclad for supplying me the kit, as they always do. Great guys. Luckily enough, we've got mil specs ready for this, so we can go straight on with the build, and we'll do a full video build, warts and all as I call them, all the way through, so we can see how it builds up. But what we'll do now is just do a complete, or a review of what's in the box. Obviously I've only just got home, so I haven't looked, so straight into it. Right, what we have here, we've got lovely artwork by Mr. Tooby as per usual. We've got an old Wessex in the background. On the box we've got 3 decal variants, I presume, that are in the box. So your kit number is A06016. It's quite a large box. The box itself is 430mm long, so it is quite a large box. Let's have a look at her. Right, so we've got our normal warnings on one side. We have a nice picture on the end. We have our 3 variants of what's in the box, which is number 892 Naval Air Squadron, HMS Ark Royal, 74-75. We've got 767 Naval Air Squadron, Royal Naval Air Station Yeovilton, Somerset, England, 1971. Whoop. And we've got Naval Air Support Unit, Naval Air Station Yeovilton, Somerset, England, 1969. We've got our full colour call out in Humbrol, but we won't be using those, and a little bit of information on the aircraft. Now, when I was a kid living in Suffolk, we used to have these guys flying over us, and my primary school teacher took us to Bentwaters on a day trip, and I was lucky enough to sit in an F4. I know it's not the same kit, but that was what got myself into the hobby, but into the appreciation of aircraft as such. I've always had a thing for aircraft. I'm not so much an armour guy, but I certainly love my aircraft, and the Phantom obviously because of our school teacher, I can't remember her name now, bless her heart, she got me into this, so really it's her fault, let's be honest. But anyway, tattling on. Right, we've got nothing on the bottom of the box, we're still taped up, so let's open her up and see what we've got. Bring the light in a bit better, and put the lid there for a second, place it up there. Right, so we have a very large bag of parts as per usual from Airfix, a nice instruction manual with the new way they do their manuals. So we'll straight into that and have a look. Let's take you down a little bit so we can get it all in. That's it. Right, I should think the decals are in here as well. There they are. Right, so straight into this. We've got information, obviously, as usual thing on the front of most or inside most instruction manuals. McDonnell Douglas Phantom FG1. So the wingspan's going to be 162mm, which is quite long, quite wide, and nearly 8 inches long, which is superb, 244mm, with 3 decal schemes included. So straight in, we've got the usual blurb from Airfix on the internal page, and straight in we've got, there are many options for this model. 3 common options are shown here. Throughout these instructions, the 3 options are represented by 4 black silhouette symbols shown on this page. So we've got the in-flight, ready for catapult launch, and stowed on or below deck. So does it mean we've got the radar in here as well, which is going to look nice, if it is. So we're straight into the build, and the first thing they ask us to do is put the seats together. Obviously there's 2, it's a dual piloted set, and we're putting the bulkhead together and getting that in. It's looking like we've got decals for side information, or the side instrument panels and the main instrument panels, which is fine in this scale, not an issue. I'm sure that the photo etch companies like Edard will soon get a set out ready for it. So we're straight in, we're putting the first bulkhead in, getting those seats in, the joystick going down, the front instrument panel going on, again a decal system, fine as we said. Straight into putting the front bulkhead on, looking at, this is the part where they're talking about underground, stored below decks or on deck. So it's telling us which parts we need to lose, which parts we need to cut. We're going back into the rear, so we've got our little, which is always metallic, which is the part that uses the rudders. Oh, we'll talk about it. The tail planes or horizontal stabilizers on the rear, they'll go in, which is a nice touch because we can paint them separately in metallics before we put them in and then mask them up. No overspray, great stuff. Can be put in different, it looks to me like they're movable, but then that's a solid piece, so maybe not. We'll have a look as we go through the kit. Going in. Then we've got the intakes. Now we all know how hard the intakes to get right on a Phantom is. For those who've built the Hasegawa and the Academy kits, they are quite well sorted now, so let's hope Airfix has done the same thing. Looks like we've got decent size location tabs as well. Quite detailed on how the intakes go in, which is a nice step. Then we're looking again with the cockpit going in, 2 fuselage sides coming together. Obviously we will paint this bit first and we can mask over it, as I said. it looks like it goes together, and then we've got, is that a lower or an upper? That's an upper spine, no, lower spine. No, it is an upper spine. Upper spine system going in, so we haven't got a seam to get rid of along the top, which is nice, providing it all goes together well. The rear fans going in, the intake fans going into the front of the nozzles or the air intakes. A small part in the rear for the engines themselves. Hopefully they've got some detail inside, we'll have a look shortly. Those going in, other plates, bits and bobs going down. That looks like a strengthening section, including part of the undercarriage. Open up your holes for different loadouts. Another part of the top of the wing going down, or the lower part of the wing going on. Or other ports going in. The external part of your nozzles going in. So basically it's going to be a bit like the Academy kit to put together. So it shouldn't be too bad. Hopefully we'll find that out when we go. We've got a decal to go on the inside, which is a nice touch. You've got more of the top of the wing going on and sandwiches them in, which is nice. The rear going in. The vertical stabilizer is going on, and it's possibly one of the things that's going to be changed as we go on to bring up different variants of this aircraft. The horizontal stabilizers going on, other parts going in ready for takeoff or sitting on the deck. Those going in. The wing ends going in. It looks like they have a very, very nice joining area here, which should make them quite a strong part, and also it should give you the angle, the dihedral for the wing tips that go on, because they're slightly canted upwards. Your flaperons and flaps going on. Trim stabilizers. Your air brakes going down. Open or closed. Again, a nice touch. Going through. To do with the undercarriage down, again, flaps can be lowered as well, which is fantastic. These parts can be lowered as well. And carrying on, air brakes, talking about those again. So a lot of this is doubled up due to the fact there's 3 different ways to build this model. So you'll be careful as you build it. Going through again, you've got vertical for the outer wings. Obviously saves you some space. And the same thing's going on with the front flaps going in. Little lumps and bumps going on that can be opened, which is a nice touch. Again, hopefully there's some detail in there, or we can put some detail in there, not an issue. Right, so the lumps and bumps go on the side as well. Obviously these can be opened or closed, which is again great. The engine's going on. The smaller engines for the FG1 than there is on the normal F4s. So we've got one piece undercarriage doors on both. So presumably they'll have to cut those, as we're used to doing. Good strong undercarriage going on. Obviously the front undercarriage is quite tall on this if it's ready to take off. We've got 2, possibly 3 different, or 2-part undercarriage to go through on this part. Not sure about that yet. We'll have to have a look at that when we build it and see how strong that's going to be. There's a part for it sitting in the position to take off, and a part for it when it's flat down. All the front going in here. Holding bar going on. Separate doors going on if they are separate. Have a look through that as we go. And then we go to the loadout. And as you can see here, everything conceivable for an FG1. Go on, we've got extra fuel tanks, which is nice. Then we come back, putting our parts, our loadout on. Small part by the well, you do get an in-flight refueling system as well, if you want to have that deployed or not, was a cover piece. We've also got, you can have the arrestor hook deployed as well, another nice touch. Then we're back on the top, putting in the front combing with the head-up display, and then your glassware going on, looking really nice. And to finish off, we've got the nose part, which is a shame that's in two parts, but hey ho. And it does look like you get the radar. Again, a really nice touch going through, and the radar, to be honest, looks very nicely detailed. So again, we'll have a look at that when we take it out of the box. Yeah, quite an impressive piece so far. Right, put that to one side. Next up is two call-out sheets. So this one is for the Naval Air Support Unit at Air Station Yeovilton, Somerset, 1969. That beautiful extra dark sea grey colour with the white underneath. Looks absolutely gorgeous, and of course Alclad metalwork, not an issue with that one. Looking good with the colours for the bombs, obviously dumb bombs, you got missiles, you got rocket launchers, all looking really nice. Oh, and look at the stencils on that for a 1/72 kit. Blimey, could be a busy little time doing that. And then we have, again, Naval Air Squadron HMS Ark Royal, 74-75, same colour, different tail, looking fantastic. And on the other side, Naval Air Squadron at Yeovilton, 71, again, that beautiful grey will look lovely in your spec. Okay, the decals. Right, they look very nice. Let's bring you in a little bit so you can see them. There you go. A little bit of light on them, that's it. Right, so we've got generics really for the instrument panels and the sides. Fair enough on this scale, not a problem. Your roundels have got the stencils already on them, another good nice little touch. Now I can't see if the stencils are readable because it's so small, so have a look, make sure they're not generic, and they're not, as far as I can make out. They look very nice. They're not generic, they are readable if you want to read that small. So far very nice. The decals themselves, as I said, they're a matty satiny, which it should be for this model, and looking very nice, to be truthful with you. Okay, so the bag, the important part I should say. One heat sealed bag. So where did I put my razor blade? There it is. Take it all out in one hit. Put them on one side. Keep that. Right. So the big stuff first. Right. Now this is the first time for me to see the new plastic or the new styrene that Airfix are using, and it's still got a dull sound to it, but it seems harder and stiffer, more stiffer than the original Airfix molds, and it's almost harping back to the old days when we used to have in bags. But aside from that, it looks lovely. So Looking at it, we've got nice riveting to scale, I would say. This size, knowing this aircraft is full of rivets. Some heavy engraving in places, but that's fine, and that's fairly deep, which is nice because it's going to take a wash lovely. Looking at that, there's nothing wrong with that whatsoever, and the actual clamshell, although you're going to have a seam in it, it's going to look really nice when it's put together. The door, the openings here, there's devoid of any detail, so you're best to close those up, or if you want to open them up, just a bit of scratch building, no issues. But that's a beautiful sprue. That's for A. Go on to B. I presume it's B, yep. So we've got parts of the under or the over wing, again very nicely detailed, very nicely engraved. Engraving is throughout and not run out anywhere. The tail looks great. You're going to have to mind these little parts when you build it so you don't knock them off. The outer wing sections, which are angled, and Airfix, as I said before, I'll bring you in to see that, but we've got really good location points, so that should sit and give the angle that you want perfect, which is lovely. We've got intake trunking, which is devoid of any ejection pin marks, so all we've got to do is a little bit of cellulose thinners or Alclad 2 airbrush cleaner, and that will take off the seams in there. On the rear, again, nothing to worry about. The tail looks absolutely gorgeous, and that is in one part as well, which is nice. There's no sign of any flash, which there shouldn't be on a new tool. Just ask Revel. Looking again, everything is nice. There's your upper fin, so it was the top. So it's going to make it a little bit like the Academy one, but again, looking really nice. Hopefully the camera will pick it up there. Some really nice riveting and engraving on the wing tab, looking beautiful. So that's nice. So on to the frame C, as they call it. We've got the lower and the lower fuselage and part of the front wheel well, so it's obviously in two parts, and there's detail in the wheel well which looks superb. We've got a mixture of rivets and engraved panel lines underneath, and they all look nice. There's rivet detail. I don't think you'll be able to see it, but I'll bring you in on that, on the air brakes, looking really nice. There's detail in there if you want to have the everything extended. Again, there is no so we got no ejection pin marks on either the doors, any of the flaps, anything on there that's significant. We have another part here which is the wrist, the outer wings with the flaps deployed at the front, which is really nice, so perhaps we can do that as well. So that'll be a great part. It'll look good. That's nice. Right, we have undercarriage, very nicely moulded, quite hard moulded, which is nice and sharp. The wheels look great and they're weighted, which again is a nice touch. There is a little bit of detail inside the engines. You won't see much because the outer engines are good. The sprue gates are quite large, but we can deal with that. We've got our lovely air refueling probe, again looking very nice. We've got deployed and undeployed arrestor hooks, a little bit of detail underneath in the undercarriage bay, looking good. The cockpit tub itself is pretty devoid of too much detail, but then once you got the seats in there and the details around it, it shouldn't matter. And we've got our decals to go on, which are going to look quite nice. Got undercarriage doors which are not in one piece, which I thought they might be, but we do have ejector pin marks in the doors, which is a shame. And considering the work that Airfix have done to this, I'm a little bit surprised that they're there. So that's a little bit of a disappointment, but we can soon rub those out with just a sand and stick and go across it. So all in all, pretty good. Apart from that, the seats look quite nice with integrated seat belts. Be nice picking those out with a small brush. So yeah, very, very nice again. We have a small Sprue G, with 3 sets of legs. So there's 3 sets for the undercarriage for the front. We have extended for takeoff. We've got our normal standard ones and our front loaded ones, which look really good. And the radar, I've got to bring you in a little bit, hopefully you'll be able to see this a bit better. The radar itself is so well detailed, it's very, very nice and looks great. And there's our another one of our undercarriage legs. Our rear horizontal stabilizers looking nice. The rocket noses are extremely nice, and they have little points in them. Good luck picking them out for your rockets, but that's a really nice touch. And the radar, for the radar frontage, if you take the nose off, looking really nice again. So yeah, beautiful job. And our loadout. So we've got our extra fuel tanks, underwing fuel tanks, looking very, very nice. That's our centre tank, obviously. Sidewinders, very nicely detailed, a bit softly moulded in places. Nothing wrong with those, really. Being picky now. Anti-radar missiles, again, nice, very little seam on them. Just a quick scrape will take that off. Dumb bombs, obviously this is before the days of smart bombs. So yeah, they're looking nice. And everything would. I'll put you up, but our missile pylons and bomb pylons and racks and what have you, devoid of too much detail, but that's fine in this scale, we'll not have a problem with it. Right, so we're on to our clear sprue. Now, at first look at this, this is absolutely gorgeous. There is a very, very tiny seam. It could be even be sprue rub, which I'm surprised. Well, I'm not surprised the way they bag this kits up. This was in a separate bag, and we do have a little bit of rub. It could be a seam, it could just be a rub, but I'll take that off hopefully with Alclad 2 cockpit seam remover. Some of the undercarriage parts are in clear as well, which is a bit different. Our front piece is absolutely gin clear, and there's not an iota of movement. How well you'll be able to see that, I don't know, but that is absolutely gin clear if I move it across that line. Our main, we've got a full canopy if you want to put it down in flight or taken off mode. Mine has got quite a bit of rub on there. That'll polish out, not a problem. Pity Airfix don't just invest in a few more bags and we'll be happy. And then we've got the radar on here as well, and that is extremely detailed for a small part. There is lots of detail in it, and that's going to look lovely with a wash. Okay, right, summing it up. So that was my first look at Airfix's new 172nd McDonnell Douglas Phantom FG1, and I'm extremely impressed. Hopefully now Airfix will go on and supply us with some good F4s, specifically for the RAF, and perhaps other variants of the naval version. Either way, I don't mind. It's great to have this kit now. So without further ado, I'll get this going, and I'll do a full video of this as well, warts and all, as we say, and we'll see how we get on. So that was your Airfix's Phantom FG1. Fantastic kit. Go and buy yourself one. Looks great.